Hello and welcome back to Loren, the Amazon Princess. Let's continue. If that's the way it must be, then we must do it. The whole world is at stake. Loren clenched her fist in determination before exiting the room to prepare. Outside, Brazier ran up to Loren and Karen. This was the first time they had seen her since she was told to scout the castle of Namar. "My queen!" She panted and almost collapsed in front of them. "Great Moon, what is the trouble?" "Namar! Vampires!" So vampires had taken over the castle once again. "My scouts! They've taken them! I was the only one who escaped!" "How many?" "I rode with 8 subordinates, Majesty. I saw one killed right before me, and the others will be too." "That cannot happen. Loren?" "Yes, we will travel there as soon as possible." Now that's the DLC, I know, which I am probably going to do now. "You're relieved, Brazier. Go home and rest. We will retrieve our Amazons." The military commander nodded and left. Loren knew she should have intervened sooner. Excellent, so I can head to the castle of Namar. It's also the Orcish Wastes, City of Horus. I'm assuming the Orcish Wastes is probably where the succubus is, and it was the city of Horus that was getting besieged. So let's camp. Eleanor was ordered to whip the forming army into shape. Loren had already evaluated their skill and concluded that they were all pathetic, so she trusted Eleanor with the job of training them. Eleanor called a formation of the 1st Battalion and stepped in front. "Listen up, I'm going to show you some moves and then you're going to practice them on each other." The soldiers, however, were barely listening and still talking with each other. "Were you listening? I said! You think you can boss us around, little girl?" "What? That's mean. I am in charge here, aren't I? You should listen to me." The soldiers laughed. Eleanor began to flush, even though she didn't want to show any sign of weakness at all, but she couldn't do as Loren asked if the soldiers didn't respect her at all. Not too far away, Loren was scowling at the situation. Her attention could not be divided, even with Brazier speaking with her. She watched as a soldier made an extremely rude gesture to her companion. She suddenly abandoned Brazier to confront him. "What is the meaning of this?" All of the soldiers quickly changed their attitude. Not a smile was seen. Loren grabbed the offending soldier in anger and yanked him up to her height. "You dare disrespect your commanding officer! What kind of military do you hail from?" We were just kidding around, you see." Loren raged, receiving something other than a complete apology coupled with a plea for his life. She dropped him and reached for her sword. "A joke! I will show you a joke!" "Loren, no!" "It was a joke. I knew he was joking. They were all joking." Eleanor swallowed, hoping that a lie would calm her. Loren eyed her intently, still wanted to champion her, but eventually she bended to her judgment and gave the soldiers the benefit of the doubt. "I see. Jokes may be good for instilling camaraderie, but they have a time and a place. This is neither." "Yes, Mom. We're very sorry, aren't we?" The soldiers all nodded without hesitation. "We're all right. No need for unnecessary violence. Would you like me to accompany you for the training sessions?" That intrigued Eleanor, because she definitely wanted her to share her battle expertise with not only the soldiers, but with her as well. But all the soldiers shook their head and declined on behalf of Eleanor. Loren felt a pang of rejection. Even though that was the reputation she forged, she hadn't asked just to threaten soldiers, but she was becoming her guise, and she wasn't sure if it sat well with her to be easily unwanted. Loren shook it off, knowing that being a leader has its sacrifices. She knew that very well, just from watching her own mother. "I see. Then you may have your battalion back." Eleanor caught the small injury in Loren's eyes as she walked away, and then wished she had the chance to show her that she wanted her to stay. Oh-ho! I'm up to 5 hearts. Fabulous. Interestingly, Chambara's listed there, even though I've never actually flirted with her. Okay, no personal quests. So, let's talk to everybody, because I'm assuming now that we're in the next act, actually, let's inventory manage first. Defense 16, so what's our current? Slightly better attack, and since I'm using her as my primary DPS, that's probably good. Same class general as her. Same as him, okay. Whacking Great Warhammer, which I will give to... That was the Warhammer to pair. Greater critical chance, bit slower, but significantly higher damage, so I think I will use that from now on. Okay, and there was a swanky magic staff, which has it compared to Draco staff, it's not as good. How does it compare to the staffs of the other mages I've got? There's about the same, just different damage type. And yeah, better in every way. So you can start using that from now on. Okay, that's good. What are the Death Knights exactly? Dark Masters of the Old Age. This is rudimentary. They are not one race or kind. They are the manipulators of death and dark magic that almost consumed the whole world. Where did they come from? That is debatable. Many claim there is a god of Inferno who spawns minions, or even sons as one might call them. However, my life's research has led me to another conclusion. Do you know the theory of realms? Look, who am I asking? Of course you do not. Listen closely, I will explain this once. Our existence is divided into different realms. They exist upon one another. One is for the living, the others are for the dead. Inferno is the realm of the evil dead. Wicked souls fall there. The other realm is for the pure. Elysium. Yes, the fabled Elysium. Between these two realms of the dead lies a limbo. This is called the Underrealm. It is the highest realm of the dead, and the door through which the dead can escape. How is it that the dead keep coming back to life? That is the only way. They crawl from Inferno and to the Underrealm, or they never left the Underrealm. These souls are Death Knights, the entities that live in the soul-twisting catacombs of the Underrealm, and who have not made peace with their demise. The Underrealm creates Death Knights. It is a perverse place. Faust wears the armour of the great general of the old age, but he is no longer the same man. He has become a husk of himself. He lives on dark magic only, and his mind is tainted with the delusions that such magic brings. That explains why you think dark magic is evil. Because it is. I am tired now. You may pick up a book if you wish to learn more. I can see why he, has a real stick up his backside about this stuff, but... Amakuki approached Eleanor and stared down at her. Yes, I require you. Eleanor blinked and looked around. What for? You are the only one here who knows my truth. Your truth? That I was exiled from my clan. There's something you haven't told anyone, not even Alphysmo. No. Eleanor suddenly felt honoured, but unsure why she was allowed that information. What do you need me for? There is word that the nomads are fleeing the south. They have come north. They are nearby then, and you want to seek them out? Yes. For what purpose? You're exiled. You're not allowed to even go near them. Amakuki turned away with a grimace. I have asked too much of you. He was going to leave, but Eleanor stopped him. No, wait. I will help you however I can. Amakuki's eyes focused on Eleanor for a long moment. I am prepared to travel at any time. I'll let you know. Aha! I have a personal quest for him. Excellent. Oops. Hey, you, elf! Are you talking to me? Ah, fine, go on, forget it. No, what did you want? I said you can go on. You're not the right person for this. For what? Now I'm interested. I just had a personal problem is all. Dora? No, blast it. Family stuff. Oh, what's the problem? My stinking brother. Weasel's running the family into the ground. Since he's technically my elder, he's the head of it all. But he's got mush for a mind, I tell you, and there ain't coin to our name no more. It's about time I take the family stones away from him. Family stones? What, ain't you heard of family gems? With the pride of a dwarven house, the head dwarf maintains a family gem to keep a record of our accomplishments. I've never heard of that. How do you keep records on a stone? Ah, all kinds of ways. It's like those family crests some people have, symbols and such. Because of a marriage, houses sometimes get a lot of gems. Bastard Carter has his slimy hands on all of them, and he don't care how he's tarnishing them. Time for me to be head dwarf, don't you see? Alright, let's go talk to your brother. So I've got his personal quest. You mentioned someone named Irojo? Goddess Iro, mortal. Goddess of truth and the disciples' saviour. Why do the monks worship her? Because she's the deity who blesses the world with truth. Quite simple, really. If you're wondering which came first, it was truth, then the goddess. Our temple's founder, the original master of truth, was a great unarmed specialist who helped others see true reality. True reality? What's that? The naked world. So, it is a philosophy. Does the goddess grant you it, or do you learn it? Can you do it now? Yes, and no. In order to achieve eyes for true reality, you need to meditate in solitude for a long time, and I wouldn't have the chance to do that for a while. But I remember what I learned from those experiences, and that's all I need. That's fair enough. I can understand. I do like a good philosophy. What you doing? Why? Are you going to be busy between now and the battle in Everburn? I have my duties. What are you asking? Well, there was this thing I wanted to do, and I knew the right elf to ask. What thing and why me? Shush! Don't be so obvious. Sorry, why not? No, I just don't want nobody to hear us. When I left Grimoire to follow your princess, I left all my stuff behind. It's been stolen now, and I want to get it back. Who stole it? Those damned city guards. They ransacked my whole hideout. I mean, home. There's only one thing I really want anyway. If you promise to help me go and get it, I'll split it with you. Is it food? Oh, don't be silly. Now don't tell anybody or the deal's off. Dora looks over her shoulder and dashes away. Yeah, I'm gathering personal quests like they're going out of fashion. Hello, Chambara. Would you be willing to answer some of my questions about you? Chambara giggled. About time we got to know each other better. How did you come to be here in the swamps? Oh, you're being serious. Of course I am. Oh, that's private information. She crossed her arms and looked away. What do you do all day in the swamps? Don't you ever feel lonely? Chambara's hard look broke at the insinuation. Instead of being angry, the Dark Witch forced a laugh. You think I'm alone in that hut? Hardly. Who is so depraved that they seek you out in the unforgiving swamps? Depraved? Darling, what I have to offer would make kings bow at my feet. Maybe one day when you're wading through the swamp you'll understand exactly what kind of power I have over people like you. Not sure what that's meant to imply, but oh well. Eleanor walked up to Loren and stood by her side next to the fire. Loren tilted her head slightly in recognition. What? Eleanor had grown used to standing beside Loren, like her personal servant, yet even as her second-in-command, she still found her way to her side. I'm sorry? You came over to me for no reason. Her words were practically bitter, and Eleanor couldn't understand why. She'd never questioned her habit of keeping her near before. Yes. Why do you ask? We are not friends. Eleanor choked back a reaction. She'd never once thought they were, or that they weren't. Why was Loren so sensitive to their relationship all of a sudden? Did she mean to remind her that she was her servant? But you're better off wasting your spare time with somebody who's capable of being fun to be around. Eleanor relaxed, but was flooded with pity. Loren, go spend time with someone else. I allow you. She turned and finally flashed a pair of strict eyes, but even that could not mask the waver in her voice. No, thank you. Loren winced, not expecting that response. She wasn't sure how to handle this scenario at all. Fine, waste your free time. It is not mine, so I don't care. She turned back to the fire and crossed her arms. They were silent and could only hear each other's breathing, mixed with the flicker of the flames. Eleanor tried to make sense of the Loren in the following quiet. She was trying to push her away, but saying that it was for her own benefit. Why would she not want to spend time with Loren? Why did she think she was incapable of being fun? Loren was a remarkable person to stand in battle with, and that was suddenly the strongest memory that Eleanor had while staring at her back. In battle, she was a masterful artist with the blade. It was almost as if she was dancing. It was clear that Loren took combat very seriously, and Eleanor realized that she did too. When she was with her, fighting side by side was the easiest and most rewarding combat she had ever partaken in, and after the battle, the way Loren would look at her, lock eyes and give her a nod, was why she was standing next to her at that moment. When they were fighting together, they were friends. They had entire conversations and debates just by trading glances in the heat of battle. Loren was not a princess, and she was not a servant. And that mentality was now leaking into reality. But why couldn't it be reality? Ooh, interesting choice. War it is. War we know. The troops are training up nicely thanks to your help. Loren grunted, followed by a long silence. I think we will win this war. Loren stood up suddenly. I will retire for the night. Oh, yes, ma'am. She left Eleanor alone, just as the sky cracked a roll of thunder. In the rain she felt truly disconnected from Loren. Oh dear, possibly the wrong choice. Ah well. Your Highness, you may speak freely. In the audience chamber, you said that you consider the humans and elves stupid. Do you really think that? Coren's face dropped in disbelief. I said that. Eleanor nodded. That does sound unforgivable. I'm used to little outside of the citadel. I adapt well, but there are some delicacies of speech that I have not learned. I'm used to speaking to Amazons only. But you are correct. Now that all the cultures must come together, I cannot speak so disparagingly about other cultures, especially of the race of elves. You have shown me that your people are good people. You do them a great honour. No, it is you who honours me with such words. Loren smiled warmly. Hey, best friend! Eleanor looked over her shoulder. Nope, Draco was definitely talking to her. Oh, hi. Can I ask a favour? Everyone else seems to. Great, then I'll meet you in Horus. So, wait, what? Why? Do a favour for me. What am I doing exactly? Nothing dangerous, I just need you to pretend that you're my cousin. Eleanor went silent and just stared at Draco. Just for a little while. Tell me why. I need to get something from the Magic Academy there, and those stupid heads keep all my stuff when they kicked me out. Eleanor raised her eyebrows. I don't care about most of it, I just want my good luck charm back. We're going off to war, aren't we? I need all the luck I can get. But why do I have to pretend to be your cousin? I can't go back to the academy. Like I said, they're stupid-heads, so someone else has to get my stuff for me. A family member. I don't know. Please, please, I'll die without my lucky charm. You're so sure. I am. I'm dead meat. My charm is my only hope. If it matters to you that much, then, I'm now your cousin. Mother's side. I can't help thinking this is going to backfire horribly. Eleanor, may I ask your aid in something very important? Yes, of course. What's wrong? Well, it is a matter of the forest. A certain tribe is harvesting more than they should be. It is throwing off the balance of the forest with damage that will take hundreds of years to mend. What is this tribe doing, and why? It is the tribe of Farshade in the eastern trees. They are logging trees below their allowance. As for the reason, I hope there is an explanation other than greed. The elders have sent word that they are to stop, but they have not done so. Their local druid should have kept this from happening, so I am worried that something has happened to her. We will get to the bottom of this. You're willing to help me? Thank you. I was worried about facing the tribe alone. You have been a good ally in battle, so I've asked you first. Please let me know when is the most convenient for you that we travel. It's like Personal Quest City! It's rather oh, nothing new from him. Okay. Now, who hasn't given me a personal? Right, let's have a go at doing one of these personal quests, I think, and let's quickly save. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Let's pick... Let's start with Amakuki since he asked first. Okay, so I can only take Amakuki and Eleanor. Eleanor prepared to search for Amakuki's clan without him. Loren gave her 2 bodyguards permission to leave, knowing that both would see that they each returned. Amakuki was usually only burdened with his weapon and armour, but now he was carrying a heavy-looking bag on his back. What is that? Food. The nomads have fled north out of fear, and have left their herds behind. Amakuki was worried for his clan, even though they had shunned him. Eleanor thought about what Amakuki meant to do once he found his clan as they left camp. They knew that they would be spending several nights asleep in the field. The plains were expansive, but you could see far. No nomads were in sight. That night they made a fire. Amakuki opened the sack of food and shared it. They had been mostly silent the whole time, but Eleanor had questions. Why have you told no one of your exile? It is not necessary to know. How is it necessary that I know? Amakuki paused. You question my loyalty and pride. You needed to see that I am deep in both. You are very prideful indeed. Amakuki's brow furrowed. Behind him, Eleanor spotted movement. Shadowy figures were creeping up on them. Watch out! Eleanor sprung to her feet and tossed Amakuki his weapon. The gladiator grabbed it and spun round to meet their attackers. The orcs screeched from having been discovered, but charged them anyway. Unfortunately, they did not know what kind of battle was in store for them. Strike. Strike. Kuki, shield defense. Strike. Kuki, taunt. There's nothing elegant about this fight. I'm just piling on damage on the nearest enemy. Bloody paralysed. Oh well, go to defensive stance. Oh, so close.
They should have surrendered when they had the chance.
Still paralysed. Defend. Strike. Still paralysed. Let's keep defending. Strike. Strike. And he's gone. Fabulous. Easy little fight. Terribly sorry. The orcs were slain, and this was only a small group, likely on patrol. No more fires, or more will come for us. Amakuki bent down and inspected the ragged clothing on the orcs' corpses. He touched their weapons and accessories with horror. What's wrong? These were made by nomad hands. Amakuki stood up and looked back at Elnor with unmasked fear. They're preying on the clans. Elnor steeled herself. There will be no rest tonight. Let's go. They took off from their campsite and spent the night and morning traversing the plains as effectively as they could. At last they saw a horde of orcs and heard faint screams. They ran for the orcs, even though they were still so far away. The orcs were more than happy to wait. Do some taunting. Cast a minor heal on him. Strike. Strike. Damn it, wrong button. Strike. One of them gone. There's very little elegance in this fight. Just sticking with my old tactic of pile on as much damage as possible. Cast Life 2, healing up completely. Damage. And strike for fatal damage, good. And I can actually level him up. Let's finish there. Excellent. Powerful, reached 50 strength. When the orcs were cleared, they saw all that remained. People of a barbaric culture were strewn across the field. This nomad clan did not survive. Amakuki was speechless. They desperately searched each person, but found not a single survivor. The gladiator could not contain his despair any longer, and fell to his knees. Elnor's throat went dry as she watched Amakuki tightly shut his eyes and shake. Elnor could only stand quietly for the moment of peace that these people deserved. The silence was filled by the sound of an army coming over the hill. But it was not an army, it was another group of nomads. They were shocked to see the bloody field, and then enraged. Amakuki rose to greet them, but the nomads assumed they were responsible for this slaughter. The nomads attacked for vengeance. Damn it, we don't want to have to kill you. Taunt. Healing spell on yourself. Shield ball. Strike. Strike. Right. Life spell. Okay, life spell on yourself. Okay, I'm going to kill that thing. That is bad. Sure, I've got healing potions in here. 100 health, that'll do for now. And, yep, another life spell on yourself. Cookie, use taunt. Fire, and then strike. 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 These guys are pretty tough. What's a health? which, given that they appear to be wearing no armour at all, is quite impressive.
I'll protect you.
They were honorless, and their death brought them no different.
Loud and repetitive grunting slowed the attacks of the nomads, and they started pulling back as even more nomads came over the hill. The grunts were coming from the largest man in the group. He stopped, and the warriors returned to the top of the hill. They stared at Amakuki and Elnor for a very long time. Amakuki finally understood. "We must leave." He led Elnor in the opposite direction of the clan and travelled to a safe distance. This allowed the clan to deal with their people. They recovered the dead bodies and prepared them for a traditional nomad burial. Elnor and Amakuki watched for many hours as the clan gathered stone to cover the bodies. Even though Elnor had seen enough, Amakuki was not moved. He stood on the hill and watched the nomads ever intently. In the valley she could see that they were being watched as well. Some warriors kept a close eye on them, but so did a few children and older men. While Amakuki watched, Elnor retrieved the sack of food that Amakuki had dropped a short while back. "Do we give them this now?" Amakuki took in a long breath. "Yes, all of it. But I cannot go." Elnor could hear the frailty in the gladiator's voice. "I will." Elnor slipped the food onto her back and walked down slowly towards the hill, towards the nomads. Those of them that were watching grew defensive, and some children ran away. About halfway there, the older woman that was watching started to grunt in panic, stepping backwards. The largest man in the clan was quick to find his way in front of her. "I come in peace." They did not attack. Elnor was afraid to move again. Instead, Elnor retrieved the sack of food and opened it. The small group of nomads slowly advanced to see what she had brought. By now the entire clan had stopped to stare at her. Inside of the sack was fruit and dried meat. The nomads' eyes lit up at seeing food, as if they had not had any for a long time. Elnor noticed that the older woman and her mate were still glancing at Amakuki upon the hill. A small boy clinging to the woman's legs, however, was still looking right at Elnor. Elnor looked over his shoulder to see Amakuki waking upon the hill, but his forlorn look was clear even from this distance. Elnor looked back at the nomads. "He misses you very much." Their eyes grew sad. The warriors took the sack of food, and the entire clan gathered around it. The largest nomad still stood silently next to the woman. Elnor felt that her time was up, and that they had done what they came for, so she turned to leave. "You..." Elnor was surprised to hear the large man speak. "Give." He pulled off a mighty shield from his back. He looked at it once before thrusting it at Elnor. "Give to who?" "Amakuki." Elnor smiled and took the shield with a nod. She travelled back up the hill and presented the shield to Amakuki. "Why do you have this? They miss you too." Amakuki took the great man's shield with awe. It was battle-worn and primitively made, but hieroglyphics adorned it to show that it meant much more than just a shield. Amakuki finally took his last glance at the nomads as he put the shield on his back. The large man and woman turned away to sharing the food. Amakuki started walking away with much effort. Elnor walked beside him. "You have a brother." The gladiator slowed to a stop. Then he looked at Elnor. His eyes were full of longing, but at the same time with content. Likely just as prideful. "I hope so. It is time to return. I have your back." Elnor had not appreciated how far Amakuki had come from his roots. Though he rarely spoke, he spoke fluently. And after meeting the nomads, it was clear why Amakuki would be offended to learn that his people were called barbarians. They did not live like the rest of the world, but they were just as rich a culture as any other. On their trip back to Loren, Amakuki told Elnor the whole tale of his life after exile. He was seen as an inferior brute and worked demeaning labour for no pay. But the times when Amakuki spoke of the gladiator arena showed how much he valued that part of his life. It was likely the only way he garnered respect from the Empire, so that would explain why he worked so hard to maintain it. Elnor felt that she had truly come to know Amakuki, and why he was so steeped in pride, because without it, Amakuki wasn't his parents' son. Shield of the bear, cool. Back to the camp. So if I go to here, better in every way. Pretty nice shield, all in all. Right, looking at my timer, I'm ever so slightly over for this part. So I will say thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next part.